So fun things you can do with these. I've made all sorts of fun things with Hessian coffee sacks in the past. Cushions, I've just actually chopped off and used it as a giant cushion cover, leaving the words on and everything. That's been fun. I've made table runners. You can make placemats. But today, since we're doing all things Christmassy, I thought I'd show you some stockings, Christmas stockings that I had a go at making. Now some of them, so you know, we're all about keeping it real, and so some of them worked out better than others, and I'm learning as I go. I don't have a basic pattern for you, but if you have an old stocking, Christmas stocking at home, you can just trace around it and leave a little bit of extra space. Hands up if you sew, give me a little wave, or hit the hearts if you sew or planned. So I've got some fabric here that I'm topping the tops off with on my stockings. I don't know, is there a button there that shows you?
Yes,
you did. Thank you. And my group.
Yay.
Oh, my own store stuff. You can too, group, if you want. That's all right. So I've done a few of these. Now this one, you can see I've actually left that little stripe in there. That green stripe was a natural thing on the coffee sack itself. There wasn't one on this one, but some of them have this green stripe in them. So here's another piece that just had this cool green stripe, and I could make this into a table runner or something like that. There's also a huge coffee sack that I think I'll make into a table runner also, that also has a green stripe down the middle of it. So I thought it added a nice little touch, a nice little farmhouse feature, to just leave that stripe right there for that one. So here's some that I did try. Now, this, obviously you've got words on the coffee sack. Some of the words, I think it's that some of the fabric is actually a little more loose weave than others. So in this one, you can actually see some of that wording peeking through, which there's another rustic kind of a look if you are happy with that. Otherwise, you just got to watch that when you flip them inside out. Choose the coffee sacks that are going to not show that wording. So you can see that wording is inside there, but it doesn't show through on the outside. Whereas this one, fabric's a little bit thinner, and so that wording here, can you see that? It's actually showing through on there. So this is one that I've actually put a top on. And now you could put the top onto it, the cuff, I guess you would call that. You could put the cuff on before or after you stencil it. It doesn't really matter. So I've got my spare cuffs here. Found a nice little ticking fabric. And these are just scraps of fabric that I had laying around the craft room, the house. So this one here is one that I've just had a little go at, and it's kind of a little bit wobbly on the outside, because what I did was, what do you call that when you put a trim around there, Celia?
Top stitch.
Top stitched it around the edges, and probably I was just rushing things a little bit, but it's gone a little bit wobbly. So I've done a little bit of buffalo check on the toe here. I've also put the letter T here, which I also got from, I actually got mine from the autumn stencil. You can use your other stencils to create letters from, but I've got in the supply list, Essential Stencil does have their, I think they're 3 or 5 inch actual letters that I've got in the supply list, so you can use those. And I've put a little buffalo check effect on that. I also used the word believe, which came from one of the Stencil of the Month Club November stencils. So if you're not in the Stencil of the Month Club, you won't have that, but we can use a number of different things for our stencil. So if you can see, I kind of wasn't happy with this fact that this coffee sack that I used had a see-through part here, and so I think that I'm going to redo, or just create a whole new stocking for T for Tori. Or I could just paint over that. Paint over the whole thing and then re-stencil my T. So this one's going in my little too hard basket for now, just keeping it real with you people. I know some of you, even today or yesterday in the Stencil of the Month Club, people were posting their fun stencil projects, and every now and then you'll see someone say, look guys, it's not perfect, but I just wanted to show you what I've done so far. And guys, I'm here to encourage you. Not perfect is still okay. because you just will do 100 or more, like lots and lots and lots of stenciling. You'll get better and better at it. And those little imperfections, I think that sometimes we are our worst critics and we are our worst judges, and we tend to be a little bit more critical about our own work. So, imperfect is the new thing.
Imperfect is perfect.
It's perfect. Let's start with some buffalo check. So I'm actually using the stencil that set that comes with the buffalo check and deer head set, but essential stencil, and I've got this one in the supply list. They also have a set of 3. I think it's 12 by 12. Correct me on that. Maybe it's 8 by 8 inch buffalo check with 3 different sizes, and I've got that in the supply list as well. So we're just going to be using the buffalo check for a little bit. And I really love the way that the red actually stands out a little bit more than the white did on this buffalo check here. So what I'm going to do is do red buffalo check to go with my red up here. And I may even just go and do the whole thing. So we're going to start down here somewhere. I'm just going to, I don't really want to go that way, so I'm going to line it up. Can you see what I'm doing here? Is
we
everyone
can.
Good? All right, so I'm going to line it up here, and then we'll just move it across according to the patterns, I think. You know what? I'm going to start at the top. Change my mind. As you can see, we're just winging it as we go here. Oh, and it's just fits in the size. And I am going to take this a little bit because I see the red stocking there and I don't want to get that the red paint, although it is a very similar colour. And it probably wouldn't matter at all. Thank you. So don't forget, you can always ask questions, and we'll be right here to get your questions and answer them.
Our first question was, does it ever get cold here?
We have like maybe 1 week of winter, I feel like.
3 days?
It's like, "Hey, get your boots out, guys. Get your sweaters on. It's winter," and there it goes. So, yeah. Okay, I'm just using my Klingon round brush. I use round and oval brushes, and I tie a rubber band around the end. If this is your first time watching an Essential Stencil live, let us know. If you're brand new to Essential Stencils and you've never seen a live with one of their ambassadors before, let us know in the comments. I'd love to say welcome. And here are some of everyone who does their lives here on Essential Stencil has a different way of stenciling or a different method. And for this one, I use a brush. Some people like to use the makeup sponges. Oh guys, also, if you want to be particular, you probably should have a little piece of paper in between here so it doesn't go through to the other side. You know what, I'm not even going to worry about it. I think I'll be good, but remember to do that. I haven't taped it down, I'm just using my hand, and a little bit of rough isn't going to matter. So with these bits here, I'm just making a forwards backwards motion just to make sure we get all of those grooves covered. Yes. So these are just burlap coffee sacks, but you guys, you don't have to be sewers, because I have listed for you. I've looked out for all the people who are like, but I don't sew, so how am I going to make burlap stockings? No, you don't have to. In the supply list, I've listed some with one of my Amazon affiliate links. You will see there's sets of burlap stockings ready-made for you. So
no way.
That's in the supply list. You don't have to make your own. I was just thought I'd impress you all today. Hope you're impressed with my sewing skills. But
oh, come on, a glue gun would have worked.
A glue gun would have worked. You could do a glue gun.
Staples?
Staples may have slightly interesting effect.
Okay. Sticky tape? Okay, let's stop.
Yes.
What paint should you use if you don't have fusion paint?
Any acrylic paint, fabric paint. There's fabric paint out there in the crafty world. Any kind of acrylic paint though. Water-based is always best, I say, because you can just wash it out so much easier
Mm-hmm.
more easy than oil-based.
We're now getting accused of reading people's minds. Woohoo! Because they can't sew, some of them, and
All right,
some of us can.
guys, I'm here for you. I'm
Too good.
all right.
How big is your stocking? Gigantic.
Oh, now I did measure it, probably in Australian metric units, in centimetres, or maybe it was inches. Celia is going to get a ruler or a tape measure and measure it for us, so that you can have that information. But it's pretty much your average basic. I think the ones that I put in the supply list, the burlap ones, I have a feeling they were like 11 inches, maybe 21. There was probably a couple of standard sizes online,
Yeah.
21, but mine was more like,
These are
so down to the toe, they're quite
approximately 2 feet, 664 centimetres.
64 centimetres, guys. What's that? So 60 centimetres is 2 rulers worth, so that's 12 inches, 24, about 25 inches.
And
Did I
what's
do
that?
okay? How was
And at
my...
the top, it's about 1 foot wide. There you go.
Thank you.
30 centimetres.
You heard it here. So someone pop that in the comments, because
Thanks.
everyone will be asking. Just help each other out there and answer the questions.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you can pop that info, some of those measurements in there for somebody, that'd be great.
Yeah. 2 foot by 1 foot. There you go. That's approximately it. Windex for cleaning.
And you could probably fit 2 feet in this big stocking. Just a little joke. All right. Some of these, I'm not going for complete coverage. Some of these are going to be just a little less opaque. But to save some time, I might just do a little bit of this, finish this, and then I'll do the rest later. So we can get on with some other things, because buffalo check stenciling does take its time. And we don't want you just sitting there watching paint dry, literally. So that's Fort York red too. Colours. Okay, so here you go, guys.
Look.
The big reveal. Da, 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 da. How is that looking? So that's looking pretty fabulous.
Ooh.
So then you can see a little bit over off this edge here. Now I just wanted to mention one thing. When you're actually, I might just do another section, because when you're matching the stencils, you want it, your natural thought is, oh, I'll just put it at the edge here. But no, we can't, because if I did that, I've got 2 stripes matching up with 2 stripes. You want it, see how the stripes are patterned diagonally going this way. So you want that striped box to be somewhere like this over here. And then that will match up with the solid boxes, you know, matching each other. So we make sure we're doing it that way. So I've either got to go like this, or you could turn it around, since this is real squares, and that is even better. So, but again, that stripe can't be next to, no, that's not going to work, because see the stripes going this way and these are going this way. So you've really got to think about it before you put it on. We could turn it over and do the back side.
You have to
of the
move it up
stencil.
1.
And I'd have to move it up 1 to there, or back this way to there. So you're still going to have to go twice again to get that stencil finished.
Up that way. Just like match it
Oh
like
yeah,
that.
you can match it like that. Perfect. And yes, and that would actually fit it.
We'll find it. Oh, there it is. Is that just a regular stencil brush or a special one for fabric?
It's actually, no, it's not even a brush for fabric. This brush is a Klingon brush, and a lot of furniture painters use it, which is what I do. I'm a furniture painter. I love taking old pieces of furniture and painting them out into brand new again, giving them a place of honour in the home once again. And so that's what I do at my blog, irestorestuff.com, and you can find me over there with lots of different tips and tutorials for furniture painting. And with my furniture painting, I have been known to use stencils on my furniture. So I'm looking forward to bringing you some more furniture stenciling in the future. But the paintbrush I'm using is just a regular furniture paint brush. The round ones are great for doing spindles on chairs and detailed areas. So I love to use them for the round ones, especially for stenciling, because they have a lovely flat edge, and when I tighten them with a rubber band at the end, instead of being flexible, they're quite stiff at the end, which is perfect for stenciling. So Right, you can see where I'm going with that. I'll finish that off later. But you can see how they joined up nicely there, and I'll probably just do that little bit at the end here to make sure it's kind of flowing off the page is what I want to say, but flowing off the edge a little better. Keep that open. So now with that, we can do all sorts of things. We can say, I've made this one plain, but I put a striped top on it, put a word on it, but I can do another letter here. Another daughter, Amber, so maybe I could put her letter A right here and just ignore the U, but so we're going to just stick that right there with white. So for this one I'm going to use white, and I'll just pop that. I don't know if yeah, probably just in case I use it again. So plastic bags are always great to put your brushes in if you're going to use them again. Because you don't want your paintbrush too wet. If I put it in the water now, then it makes the paint a little too watery consistency. So we're just going to add a letter to here. And again, we're just using Hessian coffee sacks that I sewed this week. And the white is likely to need a little, maybe some more layers. So you may just need to add a couple of coats of the white, because I feel like white blends in a little bit too much with the Hessian, the burlap. So what I might do is just let the white dry for a little bit, then you can just pop your pen stencil right back on there and go over it again. Finished.
People are surprised at how you don't get bleed through and you don't tape down your stencil. There's lots of friction from the burlap there.
Yeah, there is, but I hold it down with my hand, and I do put the tape on, but for this purpose it's fabric and the tape isn't really great at sticking on the fabric anyway, so I just figure it's probably partly just laziness. But you definitely can tape it down if you want it to be a bit more secure.
And how long do you leave the brushes in the plastic bag?
Just between coats of paint. So if I'm finished for the day and I know I'm not going to use that brush again, you can leave it overnight, but I usually just try and make sure they're all washed out at the end of the day.
And can you show how much paint you've got on your brush, please?
Yeah.
I'll actually go.
So that's just the end of the brush, but you really can't tell how much I've actually got on the brush, because some of that is paint that's probably dried out, and it's moving up the brush each time I kind of push it on here. So really I've only got paint on the very tips of it. And I'd like to do a bit of a swirly motion, but the key to not getting bleeding under the stencil is to have less on your brush. So really less is best. So you offload it until, look at that, there's hardly anything coming off the brush there. So
I've seen you put it on your hand and there's nothing on your hand, but it comes off on the fabric.
That's right. So there's hardly anything coming off on my hand there, and so, but it comes off on your either wood or whatever you're doing. So there's the A. That's not too bad actually, but I probably could go over that if I wanted to get that nice, a little bit more crisp, that white. So there's an idea for your kids. You can put their names on it. You can add words like believe. Now that believe came off one of these stencil of the month stencils. If you were in the group and you got the November stencil, there's a good bunch of Christmas words there. The other ones I want to show you is these Christmas stencils here that are great for adding little words to stockings and things. We've got the Farmhouse Christmas set of 3, so that's got Christmas trees, it has sleigh rides and Farmhouse Christmas. So you can do things like farmhouse, put farmhouse word just here at the top, or you could add Christmas down to the bottom. You could just use the word Christmas, and if you're going to do something like that, all you need to do is get your painter's tape and tape off the areas that you don't want to have the stencil show through on. So that whole stencil would fit along, just the word Christmas would fit along the base of your stocking. Sleigh rides, you could even use the little sleigh and the deer and tape off all of this to just decorate the bottom of your stocking, or even up here on the stocking. The fun ones here, we've got the holiday sweets set. So we've got the hot cocoa, gingerbread, and candy canes. There's the hot cocoa one. So some of those are a fun idea to pop down on the stocking as well. And a lot of the times you look for the little things that you can also use the stencils for. So the candy canes one, for example, will look great having candy canes somewhere on your stocking. So you can see those there. You can just tape off this part here and add the candy canes to
Top of
somewhere
your letter.
on your stockings.
Love it.
Who adds candy canes inside their kids' stockings? Do you add that as a treat? We need to buy some for our tree. We often hang those on the tree. There's also the cute little holiday stencils, Tree Farm mini tag set and the Deer mini tag set. There are still other mini tag sets on Essential Stencils page. Don't forget to use my code iRestoreStuff to get 10% off anything you order on Essential Stencils site. So there's a little bit with stockings. Let's get into some gift wrapping ideas.